Greetings, Aries and Aries rising. This is your Western forecast for August 2025. There's a rare planetary alignment happening this month. The last time it was even close to being as strong as it is this time, August, was back in 1844. What's happening is the outer planets have changed signs and are all now in harmony with each other, but especially focusing harmoniously on Uranus that just went into Gemini. Uranus is the planet of revolution, of freedom, of really breakthrough energies, very futuristic energies. It's in Gemini. Gemini is the sign of communications and ideas. And so Uranus in Gemini, in general, for the whole world, is going to really stimulate tremendous new learning and new ideas. For Aries and Aries rising, this profound alignment on your transiting Uranus is in your third house. Gemini is 3 signs past Aries. The third sector is very compatible with Aries because the third represents ideas and communications and learning. That Uranus in Gemini is going to awaken all this powerful new ideas. Later, I'll describe the other outer planets, what they're doing in the bigger picture, and what we might expect with Uranus in Gemini in your 6th house. But this is a profound awakening. Now, let's start with the beginning. The sun is always in Leo in August. The first 3 weeks of August, where the sun is shining, is where our attention is being drawn to. What are priorities? Well, Leo is a fire sign, compatible with Aries. Leo is 5 signs past Aries. So the sun is lighting up your 5th house. The 5th house is romance, children, creativity, an excellent time for a lot of people around the world to go on vacations in August. But Mercury is in Leo. Mercury is that planet of communication and information. Mercury, which also describes what's on your mind, what are you thinking about, what are you curious about, went into Leo, into your 5th house, June the 26th. It retrograded July the 17th, still in Leo, in your 5th house. It's retrograde now until August the 10th, where it moves forwards and remains in Leo in your 5th house till September the 2nd. So during the retrograde, especially these first 10 days of August, you're doing a lot of reevaluating, rethinking, maybe forgiving if there's been any kind of misunderstanding with communications. So there might be a lot of changes, that's the Mercury, in your plans, Mercury, with travel, vacations, children. But the 5th house is very creative energies, and Mercury could be in the 5th going forwards, is rethinking this desire for creative writing, speaking, going back to school and learning, being exposed to creative new ideas. Venus is the planet of creativity and love. Venus is in Cancer July the 30th till August the 25th, usually about once a year, unless there's a retrograde period. Venus in Cancer is 4 signs past Aries. So that harmonious, pleasure-seeking, loving Venus in Cancer is highlighting your 4th house of home and family and property. But Jupiter, remember, back in June, went into Cancer, as it does once a year, for a year, till next June of 2026. But this month, especially the first 25 days of August, having pleasure-seeking Venus with expansive Jupiter, it's ideal for a family event, a family that Cancer is the family, the 4th house family, but it travels, a reunion, vacations. On another level, if we're talking about property, your home, you could be entertaining, having a big party at your home, a family reunion, a wedding as an example. But this could also be beautifying, that's the Venus, your home, doing some remodeling at the home. Now, the Sun will leave Leo August the 22nd and go into Virgo. So from that last week of August through the first 3 weeks of September, now the Sun has shifted to more earthy, sensible Virgo, which is highlighting your 6th house of work. So it's like after all the fun and games of August, by the end of August, it's time to thinking about going back to school, going back to work, going back to your regular routine, all the qualities of Virgo. But before I go further, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. All right. Mars is a 2-year cycle. Mars is the ruling planet for Aries, so it really impacts you very personally. Mars went into your 7th house of relationships August the 6th through September the 21st. So it's like a good 6 weeks or so, usually, once every 2 years. Mars in the 7th of contracts and partnerships. There could be a tremendous amount of busyness and activity. There might even be some ego conflicts. But what I often talk about with Mars hanging out in the 7th of relationships, it's not about breaking up, because Mars can be very fiery and argumentative. It could be, releasing a lot of pent-up resentment and clearing the decks and starting all over again, like a big blow-up, clear the air and get back on track. Now, Pluto is in Aquarius for like the next 20 years, in harmony with the Neptune, the Saturn, the Uranus. But Pluto in Aquarius is in your 11th. One of the big things, the 11th, represents community, networking, friendships. So with Pluto, there could be a lot of major changes. Also, the 11th house can have a lot to do with your long-range goals. Now that Pluto is in harmony, so there's going to be more positive influence from the Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn, because they're all in harmony with Pluto in Aquarius, because Aquarius is an air sign, Uranus has just moved into Gemini, an air sign, Saturn and Neptune are in Aries, a fire sign. Fire and air are compatible. Now, the Neptune in April, and I've been talking about this, finally went into Aries for the first time in 166 years. And it's going into your 1st house sector, or your sun sign, your rising sign. So the 1st represents your identity, yourself, even your body. And having Neptune there, also Saturn is in Aries, and they're both pretty close, but not exact yet, in August, where Neptune is the vision and Saturn is trying to make the dream come true. So it's really establishing a whole new identity and purpose. Now, Uranus in Gemini being in harmony with Pluto in Aquarius, because Pluto's all this transformational energy. Aquarius is an air sign, in harmony with Uranus in Gemini, an air sign. And then we having Saturn and Neptune hovering around within 1 degree in August of 1 degree of Aries. And so Aries is a fire sign, compatible with Pluto in Aquarius, compatible with Uranus in Gemini. So we're having all these powerful outer planet influences, especially harmonious with Uranus. And Uranus is all this awakening, these revolutionary ideas, thinking out of the box, especially technology, inventions, and having it in the third. Some of you might be having a real strong urge to start studying more advanced technology. Or if you've always been, technophobic, and you might be wanting to be more open and to ask questions. Take a class, go online and learn more about some basic technologies. The third is also about learning, but Uranus is all this revolutionary, so you could be learning about more advanced, radical, new subjects. And Uranus in the third can represent siblings or your next door neighbors. And so it could be some real breakthrough energies because all the other outer planets are supporting the Uranus. In business, Uranus represents, or the third house, represents selling. Selling yourself for a job interview, trying to sell your products. And there could be you could be approaching, trying to get new job offers, trying to project yourself in new ways. With that third, great for learning how to set up a website, learning more about internet marketing. And so having to really, you're going to be so much more open to technology or thinking out of the box and really shaking things up. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or to check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.co. That's .co. Until next month, be safe and well.